Dr. Rick Goodman. Welcome back to another episode of the Solutions Oriented Leader Podcast. And today we have Ed Rigsbee here. Ed is a certified speaking professional. He's also a certified association executive. He's known as that ROI guy, helping corporations and nonprofit organizations to show their customers and members an excellent return on their investment. He's also the president of Rigsbee Research and is nationally recognized expert on strategic alliance development, nonprofit membership growth, and organizational strategy. He's also authorized 4 books. He's got 5 books here. 5 books. The ROI of Membership Today, Missing Link for Explosive Growth, Partner Shift, How to Profit from Partnering Trend, Develop Strategic Alliances, Art of Partnering, and Kids, Parents, and Soccer. This guy knows it all. But more importantly, he's got his ears to the grindstone. He knows what's happening out there with trade associations, big and small. In fact, just yesterday, Ed sat in on a webinar put on by ASAE with over 500 trade association CEOs. So he's going to give you the inside scoop on what's going on with trade associations, big and small, how you can help out, how they can serve, and how they can help others. So Ed, welcome to the Solutions Oriented Leader Podcast.
Thanks, Rick. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be here, excited to be with you.
So tell me a little bit about this webinar that you sat on yesterday. There were over 500 members. So obviously, as we know, there's a lot of concern out there in the world today.
Oh, absolutely. You know, ASAE, which is American Society of Association Executives, to help their members, which are mostly association CEOs, they put on a town hall webinar yesterday, and over 500 people were, CEOs were sitting in on it. And they're talking about what they're trying to do. I mean, think about it. A lot of people listening to this, you own your business. It could be a small business. It could be a large business. You probably belong to a trade or professional association. And in this crisis time, you're calling them, you're asking for help. You want this, you want that from them. But my gosh, what are they dealing with? And, probably the thing that was talked about the most, which you're going to probably guess, is finance. I mean, here are these big trade associations who've got these massive meetings planned, and all of a sudden the meeting can't happen. Now we've got to deal with, cancellation fees, attrition fees, lost revenue. And just like a lot of individual corporations and entrepreneurs are looking for federal government assistance on the various programs, the associations are looking at it too. Now, but here's one thing. Everybody out there that has a business, the PPP, the Payroll Protection Program, is available to you, and it's available to public charities. But guess what? It's not available to nonprofit trade associations and professional societies, 501c6s and 501c4s. So all of a sudden they're dealing with, okay, our members can get help, but what about us? And they're looking at how can they shore their finances. Now, fortunately, a lot of smart association execs have insurance for their meetings. Fortunately, a lot of associations and professional societies have a pretty strong reserve so they can make it through certain periods of time. But, they're just as worried as you. And a woman that runs a medical society was saying, she says, I'm getting calls from my members almost 24/7 asking questions, how do I deal with this? How do I deal with that? And, they're trying to make a difference and help, but they're in a crisis mode.
I reached out to a landscape association just the other day, and they had told me they had just canceled their largest revenue producing meeting of the year. And it was also a big competition for colleges to get in there and show the seniors and show their wherewithal with growing new turf and the different experiments they did. So, now they've not only lost their big meeting, but they lost really their big fundraisers, because a lot of these associations depend on that annual conference to really spike their revenues and be able to deliver more services to their members.
Oh, yeah. Additionally, Rick, research came out last week from Association Laboratories It was done just recently to look at, okay, what's going on right now with this crisis time. And it's 65% of the associations are giving their members back, giving refunds, their registration for their meetings. Well, think about it. Okay, you've got this money that you planned on this meeting, and now over half of them are saying, yeah, we're giving our members their money back. Right. So, they're kind of in a situation where, yeah, they've got some real challenges coming down there. So, what I would say, if you own a business and you belong to one or more associations, number one, don't drop your membership. Even if you're wondering, I'm not completely sure if the ROI is there, I guarantee you it is. You just have to take advantage of it. And your association needs your membership more than ever. Number two, talk to your colleagues in your industry. Put the squeeze to them a little bit. Say, hey, man, why don't you join XYZ? Join the association with our industry to help out a little bit. And that's something that every leader out there can do today to be a solution to some of the challenges that the trade associations and professional societies are dealing with. A little bit of money from your checkings account can make a huge difference to your trade association. And the other thing, Rick, that a number of these people are out there doing, especially in the medical, they're out advocating left and right. Also, like the restaurant. I was just talking with the woman that is the executive director of the Council of Restaurant CEOs. So what this is all of the state restaurant association, their CEOs belong to this group. And she's been telling me that they've been pushing hard to get some kind of legislation to get help, because in the United States right now, probably restaurants are one of the hardest hit of all of the industries. So, it's if you want to be part of the solution, make sure that you're supporting your trade association or your professional.
And it's key. It's really kind of up to the members, because so many of the people who are on the boards are voluntary. So pitching in and really kind of all coming together. I know, in fact, tonight our Speakers Association has a free webinar just for members. So, whatever they're doing to add value, to show support. And I think this is probably a great time also to get some of the younger people involved. Every time I speak to association, what I find is that a lot of the younger members are kind of disillusioned, because you've got some of the old guard there holding on, and these people really want to put the time, effort, and energy in. And when they see it's unresponded to, then they kind of get disillusioned. They don't want to participate. So this may be the best time for them to reach out to those members.
Rick, engagement is the word. Associations are trying to figure out how to keep their senior members engaged while change and build and add programs to engage the younger members. And, as you said, with the National Speakers Association webinar, our bolt-on nonprofit, the Cigar Peg that you belong to and have been a supporter for a long time, we're doing every Wednesday at noon Pacific time webinar. The last one we just started it last week, and we probably had a good 20 people on it, and just talking about, okay, these are mostly solopreneurs or small business owners. What are you doing? Right. One of the things that I put up for everybody is, okay, here is through the SBA emergency
Paycheck Protection Program.
The emergency, not the protection program, the other program.
Oh, the emergency, the EIDL.
The 10 grand right now. So I last week I popped up that website for everybody to look at, and it takes less than a half hour to fill out the form. I was on.
I've got the assistance right there.
You've got it. See.
So, there's no reason not to right now for any small business. It's kind of a lifeline. It's not going to save you for the long run, but it's certainly going to help you keep your head above water until we can get back to a functioning state.
Absolutely. Think about it. The federal government is trying its hardest to push money out in the economy. What makes our economy work is money moving from me to you to the next guy to the next guy, the next guy. And if unfortunately, our grandchildren are probably going to be paying this debt off, but I mean, I guess we'll have to worry about that when the time comes. But the point is the federal government is trying very, very hard to push money out, push money out, push money out. And you know, interesting thing, Rick, yesterday, one of the association executives, a woman that runs a very large national association, she made the statement, she says, you know, whatever we assumed in the past, we can't assume in the future. She says, you know, that if we just try to manage change, we're going to lose. We have to lead the change. And, you know, she's talking to her association colleagues and trying to make sure that all of the association CEOs are not just reacting, but are being proactive and going, okay. And, you know, they're going to be doing a lot of hybrid meetings. They're doing the same kind of things, creating value. The interesting thing too, one of the association executives said, he said, you know, I've been trying to sell my board on doing a lot of our training online, but I've been getting a lot of resistance because the people that do the training, that do the live training, obviously they want to continue to do the live training. He says, but because of this crisis, I've been able to push this through, and now we're able to do some of these trainings online. So the thing is, this crisis that we're dealing with right now, we can't assume what we assumed in the past, because this crisis is going to completely change what we're doing going forward. So how you did business, it may or may not be the same. Those of us that are solopreneurs, for sure, it's going to be changing. And is it, you know, are we going to pull out of this in a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months? Who knows? We have no clue. So I think that, you know, heeding the warning of what some of these association executives are dealing with, trying to help their members, I think all of us should heed that warning. What are your thoughts?
I think that's a great idea. And I think, you know, seeing the value people are putting out, I got the notice from the cigar peg and looked at all the dates on the Wednesdays. And I think that's what we have to keep doing. We have to keep supporting them, getting people involved, because it is a community and you can't do it on your own. You know, everybody needs a trusted advisor or a coach or someone there that could just bounce ideas off of. And right now it's more difficult than ever before because we're not all connected in a physical space. So now we have to be able to reach out to people in the virtual space. And it's kind of funny, yesterday I even went and looked for a better webcam camera. You can't find a webcam camera in the US right now, I don't believe.
Is that a fact?
So, you know, Best Buy, even the big ones online, all sold out everywhere. So I'm just stuck with the camera built into the model here, or however we can do it. So,
well, but you know, think about it, Rick. I mean, for business leaders today, I mean, if you've got if you're, whether you're at the office or you're at home or whatever, you got a notebook computer, you've got a camera in it, it's good enough. You know, a Zoom account costs a couple bucks. You know, the basic account's free. You know, why not just get a hold of a half a dozen of your colleagues, whether they're competitors or whether they're you know, suppliers, or whether they're your customers. Why not get a half a dozen people and get on a Zoom call like this once a week? Or you can do it Facebook. I mean, there's lots of options.
sure.
But I mean, the catharsis of us just talking with others that are dealing with the same stuff that we're dealing with, listening to how various people are dealing with the programs, it's helpful. Last night, I was on I guess we'll call it a Zoom webinar with the Australian Professional Speakers Association. I was one of two speakers that this was their first ever national meeting where they were using Zoom because the chapters can't meet.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I did my presentation, another guy did his presentation, and then afterwards, the president of all the chapters got on. And they were talking about, hey, here's what we're doing. Here are the way we're solving problems. And, you know, I think every leader out there can be part of the solution in connecting with others, not only to help themselves and to take their stress down, you know, because let's face it, you know, we don't need any more domestic abuse than we have. And with people tied up at home, so to speak, There's been way too many articles in the papers about that. So to relieve some of the stress, to share your ideas, to pick up new ideas, why not get on a call with a handful of your colleagues? It'll make all the difference. Do it once a week. And whether you want to do it during the day or whether you want to do it the afternoon with cocktails.
It's all the same. Just go out there and do it.
Yeah.
Well, it goes to say, Ed, when you keep serving, you know what? It makes you feel good because the gratitude and the good feeling isn't in the getting, it's in the giving. And it always has been. And Ed, you've been a big giver for a long, long time. So we want to thank you for continuing to give and being a guest on the Solutions Oriented Leader podcast today. Let people know how they can get in touch with you, Ed, if they need to get a hold of you.
Absolutely. My website is rigsbee.com, spelled RIGSBEE, no Y, RIGSBEE, rigsbee.com. And that will give you the basic information. If you're a professional speaker or a trainer or one of those kinds of folks and you want a little bit of help, I have a website called sellingtoassociations.com where there's a blog there, and for speakers, entrepreneurs, coaches, the like, trainers, they can get a lot of information as far as getting into working with trade associations and professional societies. And hey, if you want to join in the philanthropy that Rick and I are doing together, go to cigarpeg.com, CIGARPEG, donate $1 or $2. And those are ways that people can connect with me.
Thanks so much, Ed, and stay safe out there in California.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate it. And I'll just keep eating those oranges off my tree that you got to enjoy last time you were visiting.
Well, I'll enjoy them again soon. Okay. Take care, my friend.
Very good. Bye-bye.
To learn more about solutions-oriented leadership, please visit our website at rickgoodman.com or feel free to email me at info@rickgoodman.com. And please subscribe to the Solutions Oriented Leader on iTunes or your favorite podcast app to get your weekly episodes automatically.